Adam, can you tell us about McGovern? Is he going to travel with the team?
Yeah, he'll travel and he'll train, and we'll assess it after that. But we think he's going to be okay.
With the flight, it's a pretty big deal to get on a flight, I suppose, if you're underdone. So it's probably more likely to play than not, you would think.
Yeah, it's a corky. So if he can run it out, and he ran yesterday. So if he can train, he'll play. So we think he's going to play.
Do you take a contingency for that? And
yeah.
Someone goes. So
It would take a squad over. Yeah, we planned that for a couple of weeks, what to do this week. So we'll take a squad over. But everyone's pretty fresh, pretty healthy.
Who would go as the person to play if Jeremy doesn't get up?
Well, you have to find out at final. It's a bit too early to be giving you the team this week, boys, unfortunately.
With Jeremy, is he just one of those players that always seems to be banged up every week? It seems to be something different. Is he just that type of player, or has he just had a bad luck and run?
Probably a little bit of both. It's his first full season of AFL, so I think he's still finding what the best way to recover and how to handle his body, and he's going to be better for the experience. But yeah, he's copped a couple of knocks this year, and we've managed him to a certain extent. I think he's missed one game and he's been subbed twice. So, but if he puts his hand up, he's 100% to play.
How important is it for him to play, given that the Tigers have got those three tools?
Oh, look, he's in our best 18, Gov, so we want him in the side. But if he's not right, we will go down a different tack. So, we're not blessed with big, tall defenders, but we're finding a way. And I know they've got a tall forward line, and Gov will help that.
The fact is that you've got the bye next week. Do you ask him to push through a little bit if he's sort of 90%?
Yeah, we haven't looked at we've got a bye coming up, so that's a chance to rest. We've just looked at this week for what it is. We want to play our best side to win, and we'll select that. We've handled it pretty well, our fitness and medicos. We've planned around it, and we're not seeing it as a disadvantage.
Is it hard not to get into a psyche of the fact is that you've had a bit of a tough schedule with your 6-day breaks, travel to Tassie, back here, back to Melbourne, yet Richmond come off almost 2 weeks off? I mean, do you try not to talk about it to the playing group?
Yes and no, I suppose. It's just reality. So it's not an excuse. It's just we've got to deal with it and manage our players the best we can. And it won't be an excuse for underperforming, that's for sure. And our players are ready. And we trained last night. They're up and about, and they're keen to play.
Can you believe, coming from the eastern states, can you believe that this is 21 days or 21 flight hours in 12 days, and you've got 3 games in 3 different states? Can you believe that even happened?
Oh yeah, because we knew it was going to happen when the fixture came out. So, but honestly, I don't think our players worry about travel. They really don't. It's something that's just part of our life, and they seem to enjoy getting away together. So it helps our unity. We're a tight group, and I really don't think it worries them where they play.
Can you just talk through some of the things that you have to do differently in a week where you've got a shorter break and you're travelling?
Oh, you just got to leave nothing to chance with our preparation, and that's something that should be all the time. But there's another level you got to go to when you go through a little period like this. How we recover, how we train and prepare our players. There's only so many minutes you can train for. I reckon last year we probably overcooked the 6-day breaks and what we did with our planning and how we trained. We probably had a bit too much volume, so we've learnt from last year, and we think we've handled it pretty well this year on the 6-day breaks we've had. I think we've performed pretty well.
Richmond's so impressive the last month before the bye. Have you been able to sort of put your finger on what they've been able to do and turn their season around?
Well, look, they've changed a little bit, and but their personnel's, they're good players, are playing well, and that's the main thing. I would have thought that Deledio and these guys coming back into the side, they're pretty well settled, and they're doing a few different things here and there, but nothing to suggest it's completely changed their game plan. I think they've just gone about it a little bit smarter with a bit of their ball movement, which they've declared, and they're having a good crack.
Obviously, your forward line is extremely potent at the moment, but Richmond's back 6. I think they haven't had a change there for 6 or 7 weeks, and they feel that there's really starting to get some continuity there. Do you sort of see that forward line defence as one of the key areas that will ultimately come out with the outcome?
Look, it's a battle, of course, a battle within the battle, but I would have thought in general the collective way we defend, the collective way we move the ball and what kind of supply we give our forwards is probably overrides the talent that we've got or the talent that the Tigers have got. So I'm sure Richmond are saying the same thing. It's not just the back 6 or the forward 6, it's what you do up the ground that really matters. And this year for us, it's really solidified my thoughts that how you defend as a team and how you attack as a team is more important than individuals.
Do you watch the Richmond-Freo game from a couple of weeks ago and take anything out of that at all?
Oh, it's part of our scouting, yeah, for sure. They played really well. A really good brand of football that beat the best side in the competition at the moment. So they'll take some confidence from that, and they've rested up and they're ready to go. But I've probably been focusing more on us, to be honest.
Is Sharrod Bellingham still playing for a contract?
1 year is from now on. I haven't quite told him that one, but we're really happy with his form. But it's not consistent yet. It's been for 5 or 6 weeks, and he's really bought into what we're trying to do, and the players have bought into him. So I'm happy with his form, but that's our expectations. He's a over 100-game player, and in that age bracket where he should be playing his best football.
Same go for Josh Hill. I mean, there's always a whipping boy almost in every club, I reckon, and he seems to have been the whipping boy. You hear the vibe in the crowd, but it seems like people have accepted his role. Have you accepted how much he's improved and elements of his game has changed?
Yeah, I think he's one of many players we've got that have developed into the roles we've set for them. It took a bit of time for those types of players, but he's found some really good form off the back of work rate. So I take away the goals and his skill. It's what he's doing off the ball that we're really happy with. And I've said this a number of times, our forward six put on a lot of pressure, and he's bought into that.
MCG Friday night, it's going to be 11, I think they said the temperature on the day is going to be 11 or 12. You had that horrible weather in Tassie. Do you plan for that? Do you plan for weather, MCG elements and wind?
A little bit. We can't do too much here. Put the sprinklers on every now and then, I suppose. We train at night. Try and reduce the ground size at Subi, but we can't make it wider here. So we've prepared as best we can. We don't get to play at the G too often, and at night either. So, but we train at night this week, and every time there's a night game. So we do these little things, but I don't think you can replicate playing at the MCG 5 degrees wet night. But we're prepared as best we can.
The width of the ground, is that a factor in how you go about it? Do you have to change your zone or anything like that because of this ball?
It probably just tells you you've got to be right on with it, and be right up to speed how you want to defend if you want to do it as a collective. It's got a lot of space, so there's more uncontested marks there. There's more uncontested possessions as opposed to playing here where it's a tighter ground. So we're aware of that, but that doesn't change the way we play.
You mentioned their ball movement. They're a bit slower and safer with the ball on there, perhaps.
Look, I think just making good decisions, to be honest. I think I've seen them go quick and be pretty damaging. I've also seen them not try and force the issue. So I think they've got a pretty good balance at the moment with their ball movement, and probably we're all overplaying it a little bit. It's just the way they play, and at the moment it's working for them, and they've won 4 in a row.
West Coast don't play too many Friday night games at the MCG. Is it a good opportunity to perform on that big stage?
Oh, look, I haven't really thought about the occasion, to be honest. We know it's a massive game for us, and it's a chance to put our best foot forward and hopefully produce the consistent football we've been producing. So that's how, mate. To play at the G on a Friday night, I think there might be a few fresh haircuts with our players, but other than that, I think nothing much will change.
Teams get on rolls, and you're in Adelaide recently, and Port Adelaide are coming, and the crowd's roaring. It's 50,000. You probably accept that again. That Richmond, if there is a team get on a roll, their fans make the most noise. What does it take for the playing group on the ground if they do get a 3 or 4 goal run to step up?
Well, I think you could just go through those experiences and learn from them. I think we learn a lot from the Port Adelaide game, and hopefully they can draw on that. Still a young side that's developing, and going through experiences like that where you have got your backs to the wall, you can't replicate that. So that'll happen this week, and it's great for our players, and we're looking forward to that position and that challenge. Hopefully it doesn't happen too much, but we understand it's going to be a tough game, but we're up for it.
Is that more mental than physical?
I think it's just experience. Rather, it's both. It's what you do when you're under pressure, how you handle momentum, the crowd, all those things. But it's probably every second week we're dealing with a crowd that's against us, and every second week we're dealing with a really good home crowd. So I think the players feed off that both ways, but it gets better with experience, and you can block those things out the older you get.
And we know that Richmond stand you as a bona fide top 4 contender.
Look, we're probably not looking at that, the bigger picture. I've said this a couple of times, we're blocking the season up, and this is just one of our little stepping stones. So we want to play finals. We want to improve on last year. We won 11 games last year, so we're trying to get past that at the moment.